Previously on Retro Reviews Movies. Well, there's only one way to react to a situation like this. Oh my god, you killed Kenny! Yep, that's it, that's all you need to know. Retro, the court has called you here today because you are a murderer! On the 16th of May, you violently shot Kenny in the head, as we can see from this photo. Oh, and we have evidence too. DNA, blood samples, and even one of your hats. On top of the fact that I, Bernwatt Edwards III, witnessed this horrible crime with my own eyes. Well guys, I don't remember killing Kenny, but on the other hand... Hey, wait, no! You killed Kenny, didn't you? It's a Retro, and remember our plan. You confess, and I'll give you £6! Wow, £6? Heck yeah! Did you hear that, Your Honour? He confessed!
Retro, for murdering Kenny from the B-movie, we're sentencing you to 50 miserable years in maximum security prison.
You can't do that! I need him for my crappy YouTube show!
Perhaps we can consider a different form of punishment.
I'll see that you do!
Huh? How'd I get here?
Retro, you are currently inside the Dick Ed movie studio. I really shouldn't have let you name it that. Instead of just simply putting you in jail, I'm having you kept here to review whatever movies by request, as a sort of community service.
How exactly is that community service? Why can't I do something that actually helps people instead of just working for you?
Because you literally have no talents other than reviewing movies.
Oh. Well, great! What film am I reviewing then?
The judge really likes the Shrek movies, so he's making you review those. Good day!
I love Shrek. It's one of my favourite animated films of all time, and such a masterpiece of a film cannot be done justice with simple words. To summarise, the basic story of Shrek is that a bunch of fairy tale creatures are threatened by a man named Lord Farquaad. This forces them to flee into Shrek's swamp, much to Shrek's dismay. So Shrek is forced to go on this quest to save a princess and to win back his swamp. But this movie, like onions, has a lot of layers to it, so let's discuss that. You see, Shrek was quite revolutionary because it was made just after the 90s, and in the 90s, Disney had made such films as The Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. DreamWorks was created in 1994 after all these films had been made. They were created to rival Disney because Disney was making almost all the mainstream animated films at the time. By the later half of the 1990s, CGI animated films started to be made, all of them being huge successes. There were 2 films about toys, 2 films about bugs, but only one of these was actually made by DreamWorks. The rest of them were made by Pixar. But it was the 5th fully CGI film that would change everything. Shrek seems to exist almost entirely to mock all the stupid Disney cliches. From the theme parks to the annoying sidekicks, and probably some other things too. Even Lord Farquaad was modelled after Michael Eisner, who was the CEO of Disney at the time. Best of all, where Disney has forced musical numbers, Shrek has somebody. Now that I mention it, the opening to Shrek is probably my favourite scene in the movie. The scene opens as Shrek is reading a book about Fiona for some reason. This book is intentionally similar to the opening of The Beauty and the Beast. We are fed some important exposition, and as Shrek finishes the book, this happens.
Yeah, like that's ever gonna happen. What a load. Somebody.
Shrek wipes his ass with the book, perfectly setting the tone for a hilarious and great movie. Then instead of getting some dumb musical number to set the scene, we instead get Smash Mouth's All-Star, which was a very famous song at the time. And obviously the rest of the movie is just as good. Not long after that, we get to see Shrek meet Donkey and then watch their relationship strengthen. Once Shrek has rescued Fiona, we arrive at the second best scene of the movie. When Shrek and Donkey are on this ledge discussing the stars, Shrek casually says that he wants to build a wall around his swamp. Donkey asks why, desperately trying to get to the centre of Shrek's issues. That's when Shrek finally snaps. It turns out Shrek doesn't like being the ogre that everyone's scared of. Nobody likes him because nobody can look past the first layer of Shrek, that being his appearance. Donkey hears this, of course, but so does Princess Fiona. Oh, and by the way, what's interesting about Fiona is that every night she becomes an ogre, just like Shrek. Apparently she's been cursed ever since she was a kid. After what is clearly the worst part of the movie, where all the characters separate because of a forced misunderstanding, we finally get to the climax of the film. Now, if this was a traditional Disney movie, then the film would end with her breaking the curse and staying as a human and living with Shrek. But this isn't a Disney movie, so the film actually ends with her staying as an ogre permanently, but she instantly realises this isn't a problem, because this way she can be with Shrek. Going back to the point I made earlier, Shrek was very revolutionary for animated movies. It's gotten to the point where almost all non-Disney animated films take at least a little inspiration from Shrek. The sad thing is that every single film that tries to be like Shrek is just plain awful. All these terrible animated films take inspiration from Shrek's tone and comedy and suck ass because of it. My best guess is that this is because modern animation studios don't want to actually challenge their audiences. This is because they've realised they can just make meaningless trash that appeals to kids and tired parents, and people will just watch it anyway. But for Shrek to work, you have to have meaning behind the mess. The hidden layers of Shrek is the stuff I just went through. The surprisingly interesting and complex characters, the critique on modern animation, and most importantly, the moral of not conforming to what society expects you to be. It's too bad DreamWorks doesn't know how to end a movie subtly, but instead of an ending, we get a Shrek in the Swamp karaoke dance party. For some unknown reason, DreamWorks ends more than 50% of their films with a scene of everybody singing and dancing. They really don't know how to end movies, but in this film's defense, it does kind of work here.
All this and more proves that Retro did not kill Kenny.
Too late, I've already made my decision. You, my friend, should have been here 2 minutes ago.
But this video clearly shows that his accuser, Burnham Watt, killed Kenny. And later we can even see that Kenny survived.
Don't worry, I prepared for this little eventuality. Mr. Watt? Well, I'm going to have to arrest you for this, you know. Well, just out of interest, why did you do it? I actually want to know quite a lot.
Oh, Your Honour, this is just a small setback in a much larger plan. Believe me, you have no idea just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
All right, I'm bored now. Guards, have him killed.
Does anybody else smell gas? Hey, where's he gone?
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb, with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and it all stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running.